and gentlemen, hello and welcome to our English news edition coming to you from Canal Algérie. I'm your host, Maysa Doumaz. To the headlines. During this Ramadan, mosques will finally be open with no social distancing for worshippers to pray Taraweeh while respecting health protocols. The National Gendarmerie are doing their best to track down speculators that are storing different foodstuffs. And in Morocco, the demonstrations are numerous in several cities of the kingdom to denounce the normalization with the Zionist entity. The Algerian National Television launches the 7th edition of the program Hadi al-Arwah and the 11th edition of Taj al-Quran. Those were today's headlines. First in our news, during this Ramadan, mosques will finally be open with no social distancing for faithfuls to pray Taraweeh shoulder to shoulder as life finally seems to return to normal. Report by Malik Darhamoun and commentary by Manal Ammari.
Following a 3-year suspension caused by the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, a return to normal was announced in Algerian mosques for the Taraweeh prayer during the month of Ramadan, which will enable the faithful to pray side by side. We have just performed the Al-Isha prayer, after which we will perform the Taraweeh prayer. We are very happy that there isn't any distancing inside the mosques now. I hope that all Algerians will spend this month in piety and sharing. The month of fasting coincides with the decline in contamination cases. As a result, the Taraweeh prayer will be held in accordance with Muslim traditions, respecting all the sanitary measures in force. The Isha as well as the Taraweeh prayers will be live streamed on the first day of Ramadan. The prayers will be performed like they used to before the pandemic. We have prepared ourselves in order to spend this month in good conditions. We also prepared Ramadan baskets and filled them with various foodstuffs and agricultural products to give to those in need. Algerians will be spending this month worshipping and getting closer to Allah while remaining vigilant and respecting all the sanitary measures.
During the blessed month of Ramadan, the National Gendarmerie are doing their best to track down speculators that are storing hundreds of quintals of different foodstuffs. Story by Rania al-Bahri.
Speculation is a phenomenon that is gaining more and more momentum, especially during the fasting month. The services of the National Gendarmerie always control the situation in order to put an end to these kind of practices. We have seized more than 246 quintals of flour of different types, more than 244 quintals of semolina, and 87 quintals of pasta intended for speculation. These products are worth 418 million Algerian dinars. We inspected a deposit which contained the storage of semolina flour. This act violates Law 2115 that fights speculation. This operation was carried out based on information received by Benfriha Gendarmerie Brigade, an investigation during which an individual was arrested. Immediately after the completion of all legal procedures, the owner of the seized goods intended for speculation has been arrested, and we will initiate legal proceedings against him. Tons of food products intended for speculation were seized. This operation was denounced by citizens and closely monitored by the security services.
Continuing with the efforts against speculation, more precisely about fruits and vegetables in the Boufarik market with Leticia Sadqawi.
Prices of fruits and vegetables vary here in the wholesale market of Boufarik. Ramadan this year came in time where everything is available. There are all sorts of vegetables, everything is available. Unlike vegetables, fruits in the wholesale market seem less available. Is this the reason for the rise in its prices? When it comes to fruits, there's a lack because we are in a period where there is less harvest. Like oranges and apples, there's a big demand, unlike the supply, which results high prices in this period. Efforts are continuing to thwart various attempts to monopolize and break the price speculation chain.
In Morocco, the demonstrations are numerous in several cities of the kingdom to denounce the normalization with the Zionist entity. More details with Manan Ammari.
The Makhzen regime is facing today, like never before, an unprecedented political situation, and the people are making their voices heard, while promising to bring down this normalization of shame. Rabat, Casablanca, Tangier, Marrakesh, Meknes, Tétouan, Kenitra, and many other Moroccan cities once again took to the streets to show their full support to the Palestinian cause, which coincides with Earth Day. The Palestinian cause is a just and humanitarian issue, and we believe that the Palestinian land is a sacred Muslim land that is violated on a daily basis with the help of traitors who sold their souls, their people, as well as this country's history. Hundreds of thousands of Moroccans expressed for the fifth time the rejection of the normalization of the Makhzen regime with the Zionist entity to liberate the Palestinian land and put an end to this normalization that goes against the Moroccan people's interests. The Moroccan Makhzen regime can no longer escape the public anger, which continues to grow while denouncing this heinous act. Demonstrations continue on the weekend to denounce the high living costs with a social climate that is escalating. It is a dead end for the Makhzen regime that now has no other choice but to further undermine the interests of the Moroccan people, who are undergoing one of the most serious crises in their history due to the economic and social situation. The Makhzen is running out of ideas, and the people are left to their own devices.
The Moroccan journalist and human rights defender Omar Radi was transferred from Casablanca prison to Tifelt prison. His father denounced the hardening of his son's health condition. The 35-year-old Omar Radi was arrested in July 2020 and charged of a double case of spying and rape, accusations that he always denied. Mr. Radi was arrested after the publication of a report that claims that the journalist was hacked by Moroccan authorities using the Pegasus software. Non-governmental organizations denounced the ongoing restrictions against freedom of expression in Morocco, accusing the authorities of exploiting the state of the current health situation to preserve peaceful demonstrations. It is worth mentioning that Morocco ranked 136 out of 180 countries in the freedom of press. The Algerian National Television launched the 7th edition of the program Hadi al-Arwah and the 11th edition of Taj al-Quran in the presence of the General Director of EPTV Sha'ban Lounakal, who recalled that these programs aim to reveal young Algerian skills. Story by Rania al-Bahri.
Taj al-Quran and Hadi al-Arwah competitions return this year for a new edition, which will bring together the best reciter in the country. The competitions promise a lot of new things. We are here for the launch of the 11th edition of Taj al-Quran and the 7th edition of Hadi al-Arwah competitions. This year, there will be novelties for audience. We try like every year to have something new and to develop the program by offering very beautiful voices from all over the country.
ففي تاج القرآن
In Taj al-Quran competition, all children will compete to recite the Holy Quran. This program, Hadi al-Arwah, continues to try as it has for years to attract youthful chanting voices.
I have always dreamt of taking part in Taj al-Quran competition. I registered in the previous edition, but without success. Thank God I was selected this year. These two competitions will join the rich programs that will be aired by the Algerian National Television throughout the month of Ramadan.
Let's discover together the history of a leading mosque of Algiers, the symbolic Kitchawa Mosque. Report by Hisham Saadoudi and commentary by Leticia Sidqawi.
Mesmerizing and captivating thanks to its architecture mixing the Moorish and Romano-Byzantine influences, the Kechawa Mosque continues to tell the story of Algiers and its Qasbah since 5 centuries. The mosque was built during the Ottoman regime. Historians evoke 2 sources concerning the time of the construction of this place of worship. Some sources say that it was built in 1612 and others in 1795 on the rubble of the first mosque, in this case the one built in 1612. It was Hassan Pasha, the Dey of Algiers, who built Kechawa Mosque. This place was a church called the St. Philip Cathedral. The building went through several transformations. This place is a witness of a great massacre against 4,000 Muslims. The day after the independence, the cathedral was converted into a mosque after 130 years. Sheikh al-Bashir Ibrahimi was the first to lead the first Jum'ah prayer. It was a historic Friday for Algerians. Located between the heights of the Qasbah and the port, the prestigious Kechawa Mosque is an important geographical landmark, immutable guardian of al-Mahrusa, despite the vagaries of time.
That was it for our news edition. Thank you for tuning in to our program. Good night.